It's Monday morning, and Shakespeare is here to have a fantastic coffee break. My special guests today are going to be including May Hammer, the Coco Barbie, a professional cosplayer, model, and burlesque artist, and Phoenix Midnight, burlesque artist. We just met 10 minutes ago. Already I feel like she's my new best friend. So we're going to have a great show. Welcome, everybody, welcome! Oh, let me switch the camera view here because I want to show off my outfit this morning. Look at this! Look at this! I am all Picarded up. Make it so. Here we go. I have the Picard again, but I'm turning it into a full-on Renaissance ensemble. I mean, like, here, where can I stand? There we go. You can see my belt. Oh, yeah. Shakespeare's being svelte. Oh, yeah, here we are. So, it's a ridiculous and amazing show, and I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Did you pray to the superb owl? Did you get to pet its tiny beak? I need to know. Tell me in the comments. Today we're having a fantastic conversation about Blerds! Revenge of the Blerds! Black Nerds. Mayhammer is going to be here guiding me through because I am a stupid white person. I admit this. If I were any more pale, I'd be translucent. And she is going to be leading a panel discussion with her friend, my new bestie, no takebacks, Phoenix Midnight. But let's bring Mayhammer in right now. Oh my goodness, we have Mayhammer here, Muppet Arms! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Mayhammer, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm a little icky, but I'm good. My backdrop today is my bed, my headboard of doom.
I love it. That looks like it belongs in a cathedral.
We acquired it from my mother-in-law. I want to say it's like Thai or Tibetan or something. It's like about 9 feet tall.
I love this. I love all of this. I love everything about this. Alex Stephen Arke says, "OMG, I love it." So
I know, isn't it? Like, it's super. I'm making a quilt for my bed that's going to be like Asian-inspired fabric since this is like, I'm pretty sure it's like Southern Asian. I'm about to ask my mother-in-law. She's the expert on it. I'm just like, I just took it.
All right. So May, you and I were talking about how could we best go nerdy and also celebrate a little bit of Black History Month by featuring the Revenge of the Blerds.
Yes.
Which, if you don't know at home, Blerd is Black Nerd. I cannot be a Blerd no matter how much I want to be. I am very translucent. Here, like, if I hold my hand up to the light, can you see through my hand? Can you just see my face through my hand? Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm English. That's what I do. That's how we roll. But you have also brought in a wonderful friend of yours who is now my new bestie. No takebacks. I called it no takebacks. Phoenix Midnight. Before we bring Phoenix Midnight in, May, I'm going to give you the screen, and I want you to introduce her.
Phoenix Midnight. When I first met this woman, I was super
Sorry.
excited. Oh, you're trying to cut
I hit the wrong button.
Look, Metatron. No. I'm gonna read a little intro for her. I love her. First time I met her, I was like, okay, this is my new friend. So all it took was a 90s burlesque show, a Destiny's Child song, and a shot of tequila to create Phoenix Midnight. She's a member of the Mischievous Madams burlesque troupe in Gainesville, Florida, creative of Ashley's Rising Burlesque, and has performed up and down the East Coast from Boston to South Florida. This hot mess of burlesque is sure to leave a smile on your face, a stitch in your side, and possibly a tingle in your pants. So we can bring on my girl, Phoenix Midnight.
Oh, you have a Wolf Funko Pop too. I'm gonna go get my Wolf Funko Pop. I'm gonna be right back.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna just leave y'all. I'm jelly. Like, I'm in my bedroom like a sickie, and all my fun stuff is in my sewing studio. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Got my shirt.
Yeah, you're Picard Riker 2016.
Yes, I think
yes,
so. I should have
so.
crossed it out and made it 2020.
Dude, we need, look. At one point, it was like just anybody else 2020. Like,
Any functional adult, please.
look, somebody had Cthulhu 2020.
Somebody had Bender 2020 kill all humans. I'm like,
I mean, look, I personally welcome my nerdy and metal overlord. Oh, there we go. Whoa. Yeah.
All right, so I just need to point out, we're both wearing the com badge.
Mm-hmm.
We both have Worf as the Funko Pop here.
Mm-hmm.
We are best friends. May, you don't even need to be here now. It's just gonna be me and Phoenix. It's just gonna be me and Phoenix here, hanging out. No, don't go to bed. I love you. May and I, by the way, we're starting a Star Trek podcast soon. It might be called Two Girls, a Guy, and a Star Trek. I don't know yet.
Yeah, we gotta wait for our other friend Kitty. We gotta figure stuff out logistically. But when we start having guests,
like I'm just gonna boom kick down the front door, y'all.
No. So on the old Star Trek podcast I did when we were relaunching it, it just like life got in the way. We weren't able to keep it going. A guest that we were supposed to have for episode 3 looked at his calendar wrong and jumped into our Zoom meeting for the first one. And we're like, oh, hey, how you doing? And we couldn't like tell him to go away or anything because it was Larry Nemeczek. So, writer of the Star Trek The Next Generation companion.
you're just like, you're here now.
Okay, Larry Nemeczek, you're here. Let's do this. All right. We did not say anything for an hour and 40 minutes. He just kept talking. I'm like, all I think I had to say is, how are you? And then he kept going, and we're like, this is like at least 4 episodes worth of content. This is amazing.
It was a happy, like, what is Bob Ross says? It's just a happy little accident.
Happy little accident, happy little clouds, happy little Nemeczek. All right, so May, I'm going to put you in the driver's seat. I'm just going to move you over here. Boom. Okay. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit at the bottom. So Phoenix, you get up there. All right.
I'm going to sit. Everyone want me on the top. I don't know why.
I'm gonna sit down here as a good little Shakespeare, and I'm going to relay questions and comments from the audience as you take us through everything that is great and good about being a Blerd, and also just like you can tell me, or even just tell me to shut up. That's fine too. Of like, no, use your whiteness and I just forgot the damn word. What is the word I'm looking for? Thank you. How did I lose that word? Because of my intense privilege, I forgot what it's called. No, and just freaking Google it. Except that I am inherently lazy. And also, but if you're running the show, then I can look things up. But I'm going to ask questions, and May is also going to talk to those of us who are not Blerds about how to be better friends and allies to our fellow nerds, because we're all nerds in the end. Mm-hmm. So take it away, Captain. You're the captain now. You're in the driver's seat.
Yes.
All right.
Welcome to USS Enterprise. Not playing. So.
Is this the Enterprise? Oh my God, we are so low rent.
I feel like it all kind of stems back, and I don't know, Phoenix, how you feel, but I feel like we should probably really just start about, like our childhoods.
Yeah.
What formed, us to be nerds, things like that. What started it? I can tell you, seeing Uhura on Star Trek was like one of my defining moments of seeing a Black woman on TV, core cast, on a sci-fi show. Which, I had other nerdy things that happened, but to me, that was a real defining moment for me. To see a Black woman on screen, in a core cast, playing a love interest, stuff like that. And it was just not seen before,
So I have to admit, I'm kind of a late life Trekkie. I didn't really get into it until about a little over 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. My boyfriend at the time was a big fan of it, and I was already a nerd with other things, but I didn't really get to see a lot of people who looked like me. So I was like, well, why does he? So after we broke up, actually, I was like, well, why does he like the show so much? And I started on Next Generation because I recognized LeVar Burton's character, Geordi LaForge. I'm like, okay. And then I got into I watched everything out of order, and I got to DS9 where I see Cisco. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I rewound back and I watched the original series with movies included, even the first one.
Yeah.
The first one has great music and has visual starship porn, so that's
you
great.
need to have great music while you're staring at a giant space orifice for half the movie.
You're not wrong. You're not
The
wrong.
soundtrack was lit. The soundtrack was...
I ain't gonna lie.
That soundtrack gave us the Next Generation theme too. So
yeah,
it did. So yeah, but yeah, seeing Uhura, I had going back to the history of the country at the time. I'm like, wow, this was really groundbreaking. Even more so when you found out just how important Nichelle Nichols herself was being on that show. Not just her character's communication officer, but just what she represented. I don't know if anybody knows this, but after the first season of Star Trek, she wanted to leave.
She was like, I'm ready. I'm done.
Yeah, she wanted to do theater. She wanted to do musicals. And she was at some sort of special banquet dinner. I think it might have been for the NAACP. And somebody had to come up to her and say, hey, there's a Trekkie, or a Trekker, that's what they were called back in the day. There's a Trekker here who would like to see you. And she's like, okay. It turns out that Trekker was Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yep.
And he was like, me and my wife, we love you. You are the only show that we let our 4 children watch. So he's complimenting her on everything. And she tells him, well, that's great, but I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm about to go. I'm leaving the show. And he's like, you can't do that. Because you have to understand, for the first time, you don't have a black role. You have an equal role. And that following week, she went back into Gene Roddenberry's office and told him that she was staying on.
Yep.
Her ex-boyfriend, Gene Roddenberry.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she. I switched again. That's weird. All right. She was dumped. She was his rebound relationship after his divorce, and then they broke up but remained amicable. And she came onto the show, and then. Who replaced her in the relationship but Majel Barrett?
Yeah.
Majel Barrett, the woman who would be synonymous with Star Trek for the next 50 years.
Yep.
But they apparently were already friends, independent of Gene, and they're on set. The story I was reading in her one memoir was they were on set together, and she goes, "Wait, Majel, you're here?" She goes, "Oh my gosh, Nichelle, hi, how are you?" And then there's Gene just standing there like, "Oh no,
oh no, what have I done?"
Oh no. Current girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. Oh God. Oh God.
Don't let them find out. Yeah, and like when I found out, as I was, got older, that Martin Luther King, how do you respond to something like that from Dr. Yes, like that's all. When Martin Luther King tells you we need you,
then you gotta stay.
Like you can't tell Dr. Martin Luther King no. Like he had a point though. You were not a black role. Because back then it was there were black roles. The help. It was the help. But she was equal. She was a star. She was a core cast. She wasn't the black person. Like she was Uhura, the communications officer. And it's just it was a lot. It was just a lot. For me as a child, trying to find somewhere to fit in. Mainly because I grew up in a very white town. I was like one of 4 black kids in my school. And I didn't fit in anywhere because I was quote unquote too white for the black kids.
Oh,
or I was obviously black. Or whatever. It was just a lot. Like the black kids thought I was too white, the white kids thought I was black. They had the few good, they had the few non-crazy people in the school that I became really good friends with, but, I grew up in a town where the KKK is still a thing, And it was hard for me to find my footing, and seeing that kind of helped me, be okay with myself as being a nerd. Like I love sci-fi stuff. Which kind of brings me into Phoenix. Have you heard the following things? Oh,
Oh,
you're an Oreo. Oh, you're
yep.
one of the good ones. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're articulate. Oh,
You
you're not black. Oh, I mean, the list can go.
You're the whitest black person I know. I'm like, excuse me?
I'm like, where? Last time I checked, I'm still brown AF. Like,
I'm like, look at my house. We do foo and pili pili. We don't do nothing. No, I am
no,
not.
like,
I'm
and like
not.
my grandmother, who's like native Creole, like all this other, like she's native and Creole, and I'm like, we eat chitlins. Like, I'm like, we eat collard greens,
Yeah.
beans and rice. Y'all got some
I don't know.
chicken over there. Like, I'm just,
Go get your eyes checked. Clearly,
right.
you
I'm
got
like,
something twisted.
I'm like, in case y'all forgot, like I'm still black,
Yeah.
and which can kind of, some people don't realize that can put you in a situation when people are like, oh, I don't see color, or oh, you're fine, you'll be fine, you're like one of the whitest black people. But they don't realize that there's some situations we can still be put in that is uncomfortable, because you don't realize that just because you're like, oh, you're fine, not everybody's gonna be like that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're still black and brown people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what you think, or you might be thinking it's okay, we can be put up in dangerous situations. Like stuff has happened like that with me in burlesque too. They're like, oh, I'm like, no, bro, like I'm still brown, like I can't be up in here. Like,
y'all want me to go where? You want me to drive through what town?
no,
At
I'm
night?
good.
No, ma'am.
I'm gonna be like, so you driving the car for this stick of the?
That's what I did. That's what I did with my boyfriend. We went to New Orleans to do a couple of shows 2 years ago, and I drove from Gainesville all the way up I-10, I-75. Once we started hitting the Panhandle,
Girl,
yeah, but I still managed to drive through the Panhandle. The minute though, right before we hit Mississippi and Alabama,
I'm gonna need you to get in this car seat.
Yep. No. Absolutely not. Not doing it. Doing
nope.
it.
No,
We got sundown towns on the way here. We're not stopping.
Yo! And like, my husband is as white as you can get. He's from
Same.
Boston. He's Irish and Austrian. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, he's a redheaded, translucent, love him. But where he grew up, his family is very progressive. His family's been progressive. Like, they used to work with Martin Luther King. His grandmother used to work and help drive African American people to and from work, because back in the day in Tennessee, if you got caught driving,
Yep.
So his grandmother and grandfather used to do that. They used to drive people to work. My mother-in-law would tell stories of how they had crosses show up in their yards because they supported the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just never a thought process for him, because he was never raised to look at people differently. You treat people equal. But when he moved down south and he got to see it firsthand, and I would tell him, I'm not driving through there. You can drive the car.
Mm-hmm.
But they gonna pull us over as soon as they see me in the seat.
Exactly.
And, but like, he's heard stories, but he never experienced it. But he's real quick to pop off, though. I will give him that. He will cuss somebody out in a heartbreak. Be like, I know you're not, and but it's shocking that people tend to forget, even though, and my husband did it once or twice when we were dating, because in his mind, how he, you're just the person, the end, which is how it should be, But when I had to explain to him, I can't go there. I can't hang out there. There was a convention he wanted to go to. I was like, I'm not going to that. No, I don't care. It's only in Mississippi, bro. That's Mississippi.
It's Mississippi.
I'm not. Baby, no. I'll perform in Jackson, but I'm not going anywhere else.
Yeah, no. If it's a big city, yes. But if you want to go out in the boonies,
no. I've seen that movie. It don't
absolutely not. That doesn't end well. Well, like my guy, he's from the South. He has family in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And then he grew up in Palaca, Florida, which is basically the boonies.
Yeah.
Basically the boonies, very red. area.
Yeah.
Like right now, they're still fighting over a Confederate statue in front of their courthouse.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. So, and with him, and he's also whiter than mayo on toasted white bread, very translucent. But he was actually married prior also to a black woman, and her father was a pastor, and he remembers being in the church van, and her father was driving, and they got pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel was driving. And they got pulled over. He didn't even talk to Daniel. He went right across to the
other side of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, what did this man do being in the passenger seat?
But you gonna see.
Yeah.
You know, and it comes down to, you know, like when it comes to a lot of nerdy things, which I know I can't speak nerdy, but you know, when I'm like, especially when it comes to cosplaying or something, you know,
gatekeeping.
You know, I'm like, hey, you know, I really want a X, Y, and Z. And they're like, well, that person's not brown. I'm like, well, neither are you. Yeah, you know, and you know, it's other things where weird segue. You know, when you're trying to find a niche in your nerd community or in cosplay or anything that's nerdy related, you know, you have a lot of gatekeepers that try to tell you who you can and cannot
really be,
or find a connection with, you know. And I mean, it's real funny, like, to go back to Star Trek, when I saw Cisco, I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want Captain Cisco come through, you know.
Especially 4th-season Cisco with the beard, let me tell you something.
But you know, but I was also the girl that has an unhealthy obsession with Commander Daddy, aka Commander Riker. Like, he's why I have a thing with tall men with blue eyes and beards. So like,
I was Data. I'm a Data girl.
I'm not tall. I have a beard. I have blue eyes. I'm not tall.
But like tall. I found him attractive. Like, I was like, whatever. Like, you know, my family didn't care who, what, where I married or whatever. I mean, where, because my mom was bougie and she wanted me to have a big old Southern wedding. But she didn't care. Fandom can be really savage.
Oh my god.
You know, but like, I remember when people would ask me, "Oh, who's your favorite character in, you know, this series?" And I'd be like, Riker, and they're like, "It's not who? It's not who."
It's not Cisco. It's not Uhura. It's not.
No, bro, I like Riker. He was smooth. He was Rico Suave for his age. Like, I mean that chair sit. Like,
you can keep Riker. Give me Data.
He is
fully functional.
You
okay.
can have Data all you want. I'll keep Commander Riker. Commander Daddy. I met him. I met Jonathan Frakes. Oh my god. So okay. So weird nerd freak out. So it was GalaxyCon 2 years ago now, 2019, and I normally don't do photo op stuff per se. Like, if I'm gonna do it, I want to like be able to go to the table, whatever, right? But my friend bought me for my birthday a photograph with Frakes. So I was like, okay, so I'm dressed as like Carnage, but Gwen Carnage, and so I'm in this tight Zentai bodysuit, blonde hair, marked like black lines drawn all over my face.
I want to see.
And I am like geeking out. I'm trying to be real cool about it, real not like trying not to be weird. So, but you know, with those lines, they feed you through, right? They just go picture out, picture out, picture out, right? So I go, it's my turn. I'm trying to be real smooth. I'm 30 years old. I got this. He stopped the photographer and goes, "I just want to say you look really nice in that suit that you're wearing." I forgot what I was doing. I forgot where I was, what I was doing. I forgot that I was a 30-something-year-old woman. I went, "Thanks. Can I hug you?" For our picture. Whatever coolness factor I had when I
was
gone. And he goes, "Sure." And I was like, I'll admit I pictured this different when I was 16. And he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, in my mind, I would be held in the picture." He was like, "Oh, baby girl, I'm way older now." I was like, "He got it,
and she did.
Oh my god. Oh.
Like, picture just me doing this.
I have to reinsert myself right now just because this is fantastic. I am absolutely loving this. But whereas your favorite character from the Next Generation era would have been Commander Daddy for the win. Mine was a toss-up between at the time because I was a little kid when it started. Mine was Data because he was the new Spock version.
Yeah,
there we go. He's an android, and it's just like, oh my god, this is amazing. But also Geordie because because I'm a fair shade older than you. I had Reading Rainbow every day. And he advertised Star Trek The Next Generation as his other job on Reading Rainbow because he felt it was kid-friendly enough to go do. And so it's like, I want to go watch Star Trek The Next Generation now, please, Mom and Dad. And I'm 5 when it starts. It's just like, yes, thank you. I want to watch this. And
But I remember it blew my mind because I did watch Reading Rainbow, whatever it was still going on with the rerun. And then I was like, wait a minute. And then I looked at the show. What?
Spider-Man thing, huh? Wait.
Well, also reading. I mean, let us take race entirely out of it for just one moment. He showed us through his visor that it was one of the first times that you started seeing disabilities as differently abled. That he was possibly the most valuable person on that ship because he could see things that no one else could see. Yep, literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, there was an episode where they go to a planet where everybody's been genetically engineered and they're having some sort of trouble with their environmental bubble, so to speak. And when one of the scientists comes back to the ship, their solution is based off of the technology in Geordie's visor. And he comment along the lines like, well, who knows what would have happened? You got the solution from a blind man, a man that wouldn't even exist in your society.
Exactly. But you know why Geordie was blind? And also the pilot of the ship, because Roddenberry said, original idea is have Geordie be the pilot, he was the helmsman, and have him be blind at the same time, of just saying there are no limitations anymore.
Yeah,
it's just like amazing, brilliant.
And that was another aspect, like you said, taking out the race, the disabilities, of being blind and being a core character, like you said, not having limitations. That was
also the fastest promoted person in that series ever.
So progressive in so many different, female captains.
Terrible against women though. Terrible against women.
Yeah.
I mean, but at least they did have some female captains.
I mean, let's just look at Troy and Crusher's exercise uniforms.
Yeah. It's like
6 of 9.
7. Oh yeah.
No, I crack jokes because they called her 6 of 9.
Yeah. Didn't she pass out in that outfit because the corset was so tight? She passed out.
Dude, I was like,
because Rick Berman is a terrible person.
Yes, he is.
I was like, is this necessary? I was like, was this necessary?
The boy couldn't breathe.
I was like, girl, and like it just killed me, like just everything. And I was like, why are we so skin tight though? Like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this with everybody. These dudes better be wearing some track shorts, some track pants, those football pants. If everybody gonna be suited tight.
Other than the egregiousness of 7 of 9's costume, the worst one to me was T'Pol on Enterprise.
Oh yeah.
Because everyone else, including the women, like Hoshi, are in very utilitarian jumpsuits or cargo pant and jacket separates. It's like with pockets everywhere. It's like, oh, I'm gonna put my thing here. I'm gonna put my other thing here.
And then there's T'Pol.
And then there's T'Pol, just like, and it's just like, do you want something more comfortable?
I'm like, was this my choice?
I would have loved to see her say, excuse me, I'm gonna go slip into something more comfortable, and then come back in like wearing a jacket.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh yeah, that does look better. Yeah, you look cozy.
It just killed me because a lot of, even at that age, I was like, wait a minute.
Nah.
Why?
So
we knew why. We knew why.
I mean, we knew why.
It was all aimed at me, and I apologize. It was aimed at when Voyager started. I I don't know, 15? What was that, 95? 90? So I was 14 when Voyager started, and when Enterprise started, I was 18 or 19. And it was like, it was aimed at me. It's like, we
sex appeal.
Yeah, but it's at the same point, you can do sex appeal without being gross about it.
And I feel like it was just a lot. Like,
oh yeah, it was.
Like there's. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I had my whole years where I ran around skin tight, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're
as my wife says, if you gaunt it, flaunt it.
I mean, but if you're using sex appeal to keep interest, like there's a way to do it without being so.
That's the cheap way out. That is such a cheap way out.
I'm like, y'all, quit trying to do that. Like now you're falling into these other shows that are trying to, appeal to the male gaze only. Mm-hmm. When you know there's other demographics that watch this show. Come on, let's just. And I know people talk back on Discovery. But
as Dan Wenzel says, a character built on efficiency and practicality. So let's put her in heels.
I mean, for real though. That's exactly what they did. They were like, she's super smart, she's efficient. All right, let's put her in some stilettos and call it a day.
Yeah. So when Voyager premiered, I was 14. Jumping back through comments real quick. And Alex Stephen Arke said about Troy and Crush's workout outfits, they were backward bathing suits.
Pretty much.
They were.
And Susan Hill, I'm not sure if either of you have watched Picard. By the way, it is hard to get through.
Oh, yeah. Seven looked good.
Oh yeah. Really? She's in a leather jacket and her hair's down and she's all like, all right, yeah. Let's drink this whiskey.
Yeah, she's like she's aged well and she looks so
very
good.
right.
And they just got her just normal clothes. Just normal
She's a renegade. She's a renegade kind of at this point. So yes. There's no way you're going to be able to do all that stuff in a giant in a skin tight leotard. No.
Yeah, so it's like, and I mean, in Picard, when I saw her, I was like,
oh, I saw her. I was like, I had to knock out my neighbor. I'm so sorry if you heard me scream.
All right, so real quick, everyone watching, spoilers on Picard and Discovery, etc. at this moment. So since you've both watched it and everything, so number one, this is just nerding out. Did Picard feel to you less like a season and more like an extended pilot episode? The 10 hours felt like, oh, this is the good introduction to the series. Now let's do it.
I felt like it was movie 1 in Lord of the Rings. Like I feel like this is like a really long movie that I feel like they can do way more. I felt like it was really, I don't know. The
parts that I'm sorry, go ahead, Phoenix.
No, I think because they were like, we don't know how much people have forgotten from the next generation and whatnot. It's like, no, we already just fill in the parts that have happened in the 25 years since that final episode. We don't need necessarily all this background. I
feel like they dragged it out a lot.
Yes.
And it felt, even though it was like a season, it felt like it was just like a really long movie where they're doing, here's what happened in the past 30 years. Okay.
Exactly.
We know.
We know. Can we just
everybody? If you were, I was that person that watched Next Generation up until the day before Picard came out, and just I have to say, for my poor boyfriend, his birthday fell on the premiere. So when I found out back in November, I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait for January 23rd. Oh babe, that's my birthday. You're so nice. I'm like, oh, that too.
Oh my bad.
Oh, you're working 20. Oh, I was
talking about. Let me tell you how much of a low-key nerd. This is how much of a low-key nerd my mother-in-law is. She literally bought the CBS streaming service just for Picard, and then she did it after we finished it.
Oh yeah.
It's like I want to buy.
Oh yeah.
She was like, "All right, it's on it. Okay, thanks, bye."
My mother did the same thing.
It was so good, and I was just like, I was like, it was slow to me, and I think that's what kind of killed me. I was like, I know.
Well, I like the nostalgia, but then the nostalgia hits, and especially when you start seeing
and then
characters come back.
And Troy showed up, and I was like,
that was the best episode. Oh my god, the Riker and Troy dealing with the grief of the loss of their one child. While here's this other one, and that was a fantastic episode.
It was done so well.
It was done so great.
Yeah, I know, tears.
I'm like, if they can last, so can mine.
The only thing I will say I was pissed about for Picard was how they did my boy Hugh.
Yeah, they did that kind of dirty.
They kind of dirty.
I met him.
Okay, really?
I met him when I was a kid.
Del
I met Jonathan Del Arco. It was right after the episode. They had filmed. I guess the season 7 premiere episode, Descent Part 2. And he was at a Star Trek convention in near my hometown, and so we go. And I met him and Elizabeth Dennehy, and so Commander Shelby, and Michelle Forbes, so Ensign Rowe. I met all of them at that convention, and I was just like, "This is fantastic."
But they did him dirty though.
They did.
I was hoping to see so more, especially when I first saw him. I'm like, yes, I can't wait. What?
But they built the Borg up. They built the Borg up. Or rather, the XBs, they built them up so high. This is gonna be important. This could be important. This could be important. This could be important. This could be important. Nope. Yep.
It's like out the airlock.
Like,
yeah. Like for just everything of how the Borg they dealt with the Borg cube. It's like still have the Borg cube crash on the planet. Sure, why not? That's fine. That's fun. But do it once the Romulans are already there, so they're kind of like exploding through the Romulan armada, and then the USS copy paste. Someone just Control-C, Control-V'd that, and it's like, all right, here we go. So when Riker says, I'm in the most advanced Federation battleship that's ever existed, and I got 50 of them right here. It's like, why do you have 50 of the most advanced starship? It's just like, how did you have that? And then it's just like, the Romulans leave, it's like, you hit the button, and they hit the button. Yeah, Alison Brie, or whatever, whoever it was, the wacky scientist lady. Dr. Gennady. Yeah. She turns off the android imagination machine, and that does whatever. That's how it would have been better. Not making 100 copy pastes of Picard's of the La Sirena, but of Riker. So it's like, oh, there's an armada here. Oh no.
Here's a special edition, 50 times.
It's just like, okay, and then it's just like, oh, thank God you had that because we have one. And or you bring out the Defiant. You like throw him in a cameo. Captain Wolf on the Defiant.
Bro,
Wolf probably has the Enterprise, but you bring in the Defiant. You bring in the Enterprise E. You bring in a Galaxy class something just so we can see it again. You bring in the Voyager. It's just like, yeah, it's like, hey Picard, we can only send you half a dozen ships. Boom, but here they are, and you're like, yes, all the
teams. Like Infinity Wars, or I'm thinking of like Endgame, just everybody coming out of the portals.
Right, just everybody showing up.
Yeah,
Warp and everything.
That's a different conversation, but Infinity.
I'm done. I'm out. I'm done.
That's a different conversation that's been had on many times before this on different YouTube channels, but Infinity War on your left and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker on your left. It's like, and then Lando Calrissian says, on your left, and you're like, wait, what?
What? Dude, that scene was lit in Star Wars. I'm just gonna put that out there.
No, it was great. I was misty-eyed. I didn't cry. I cried at Endgame. Yeah, Endgame. When the Wakandans all come through, and there's the war rhinoceroses.
I still want the battle rhino.
And I'm like,
to work.
And there's T'Challa, and I'm like,
dude, when I heard the crackling, I went, what's happening? What's happening? And I was in the theater like a crazy person. I was like, what's happening? What's happening? And then I heard on your
everybody just was
the whole theater was a mess. And I just started crying because then you hear Wakanda's chanting, and I'm like,
even though he didn't say it right before everyone starts coming through.
Yeah.
And right before you hear on your left, when Cap picks up the shield, he's like, I could do this all day. I kind of wanted him to be like, do the whole old Batman thing from Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight Returns, the comic book version. Yeah. I kind of wanted him to do the whole thing of, this would be a good death. And just be like, just mutter it to himself.
That would have hurt my soul, but
it would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect.
Was he trying to pull a Worf? Today is a good day to die. Is that what he was trying to do?
I mean, that'd have been great.
That'd have been amazing too. I would have accepted Thor to say that. Okay. Thor could be like, today's... But Thor's joy when the hammer comes over, smacks Thanos, and then goes into the hand of Cap. He's just like, I knew it!
He's like, yes!
Yeah. Oh, so great. So let's talk about, real quick, let's talk about the importance of representation in media and what people who look like me can do to help with that.
So obviously, like when I was saying, seeing Uhura, that's a foundation set for other little kids, black and brown kids. So they know that they don't feel limited, that, the world is more than white, and I feel, I'm really happy, in media, like when they finally did a Black Panther movie and they did their research.
Yeah. It was a good movie.
They brought in all these different African cultures. My life was living. But, it's important to show that we don't just, we didn't just poof, we're here. We're
not just going to be investing anymore.
Yeah, like, it's nice to see, like, my main thing was, with, growing up, I had a real, like, when I started sewing, I loved historical garb. I loved the Renaissance. I love the medieval. I love the Tudor era. But I always got told, oh, black people don't wear that. They can't wear that. And I'm like, so we just didn't exist. So we just didn't exist back then. And it was hard because when you're trying to find reference pictures, there isn't a lot at my age back then, there wasn't a lot of black and brown people being talked about or shown from those eras that I liked, and now that I'm older and people have become more conscious, there's a book I'm reading called Black Tudors, the unknown history of blacks in the Tudor era. There are like so many brown people that were influential in that era that nobody knew about before, and now they're finally talking about them. So I feel like in any, like Bridgerton, it was great. It was great costuming. I was here for it. But what made me happy, no, it wasn't historically accurate. I mean, what really, really is, but it was a push in the right direction that not everybody was white in the cast. There was interracial, which should be commonplace, should not be a shock to people. And the fact that they actually they casted a brown woman as Queen Charlotte, because when you look at Queen Charlotte, she looked like a black girl, a mixed, and there was all these different, arguments about was she queen, was she England's first black queen? Because if you look at her, she does have Afrocentric features.
Well, yeah, I was doing some research on her the other day. I am, full disclosure, I am not a fan of the show Bridgerton.
The show it is what it is.
It's a little too trashy. It's a little too trashy for me.
I mean, it started out and then it turned into porn, but like.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at man butt.
There's man butt.
When I'm looking, I don't know, because I'm like, when I'm looking at man butt with a lady up against a tree in the first 4 minutes of the show, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Well, here's what I mean. Like, it was definitely just fan service for the ladies. I will say that.
Yeah, sure.
Because
no.
After that play, Simon is very pretty.
It was not made for me.
No, and you know what? It was more for the feminine gaze. It's about time we get our due.
Thank you.
You are welcome to it.
I know, but the thing is, my thing about it, it's historically accurate, but the fact that they didn't have just white people the whole time. They had a myriad of ethnicities playing in the cast as these nobles, and high influential people, and it wasn't just the same thing that you would see like in Downton Abbey. Like,
two bits on that. My two bits. Number one, I was doing some research on Queen Charlotte, and it's bizarre because with royal pedigrees, you see like, oh, and they begot so and so.
Yeah.
They know surprisingly little on her genealogy past a little bit back, but it looks like she was possibly about one quarter black. So but through Spanish and Portuguese intermarriage with Moorish kingdoms.
Yeah.
So
that probably, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they were getting at, that she was probably part more. And I was like, so just admit it. Like, y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, we can have the one, like, if y'all gonna hold us to the one drop rule for everything else.
Ha! Oh, damn.
Phoenix is like, Lord. But I mean,
I can go with you on that one. As a member of the Jew crew, yeah, we get that too. It's like, I was raised Catholic, all right? I was raised Catholic, but people are like, oh, your grandfather's Jewish. Yeah. Hey, Jew boy. And I'm like, oh. Is that what
that's how this works?
Okay. Cool.
You know,
But
I was gonna go back to something you said, May. Kind of again. I'm back in way back about just how you were feeling about the representation on Star Trek. One of the things I think about is actually Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
And what she said whenever she first saw Nichelle Nichols, I believe the quote is, "Hey, Ma, look, there's a black woman on TV and she ain't no maid," which then was a big influence for Whoopi herself to go into acting. And then she was such a big fan of the show, is how she ended up as Guinan.
Yeah.
And that prompted one of the greatest friendships, both in Star Trek and in real life.
Yes.
Of Guinan Picard and also Whoopi and Pat Stew. I mean,
she, and like, I will say, going, like, I feel like we're playing like 4,000 degrees to, whatever, but like, Whoopi Goldberg, when I saw her in that movie, Jumpin' Jack Flash, I'm going way back. I saw a black woman as a love interest to a white man, and it wasn't frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, oh no, and like in Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama for many years, it was against the law. Like, that they never even took it off the books until recently, that it was against the law. You know what I'm saying?
I think 7 years ago. 7 years ago.
They just
finally allowed for racial marriage.
Yeah, I guess we should just, take that off now. But it was like, seeing Whoopi Goldberg playing a main character as a love interest to a white man, was unknown to me, to see interracial stuff like that. Like, of course, Star Trek, when they have Kirk and Uhura kissing or whatever. But
then you have to like, oh, they were forced to do this because that was part of the story and da 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 da.
At the same point, Shatner, because the network was so scared about their affiliates in the South not showing the episode or cutting it or anything, and Shatner, as terrible of a person as he is, kept, the story goes, kept apparently screwing up take after take after take after take after take, so that they had to use the take where you see him and Nichelle kiss.
Yeah.
As opposed to the turn away or anything.
Yeah.
And so he at least did one good thing.
Yeah.
We'll give him that one, and that's
he got that one.
I'll give more credit to Nichelle than him.
Oh, absolutely. I am not disputing this. I'm just saying, because she didn't have, sadly, at the time for America or Hollywood, the cachet in that moment, but he did.
Yeah.
He used his privilege to do it right.
One time. Because when I heard about that, I was like, oh, so he kissed her once and then screwed it up on purpose, so they had to, I see what you did there, sir. You get that one. You get that one.
Yeah.
But, it's just nice to see how Hollywood has, come such a long way, over the years, and seeing, we're not always the maid, or
we're not always the maid, we're not always the thugs, we're not always the hookers, we're not always the...
We're not always the one dying first. Like,
yes.
we're not always the one getting ganked,
right.
And that's why, when Jordan Peele started making his breakthrough
I was
directing, like, bro, that changed the game. Get Out, my husband was in the theater, hella uncomfortable. I don't think this is for me. I feel like this is for you, and this is a moment, and no, baby, I want you here. He's like, yeah, but I don't think this is for me. But he got to see, where, he got to see what horror to us would, seeing, the movie Us, oh my God, ruined that song for me for the rest of my life.
I still haven't seen Us. I'm still kind
of girl, and you got kids now, girl.
Oh no.
You better get your mind right for that one.
Oh,
because I wasn't ready. But Jordan Peele, Lovecraft Country, bro, did
So
the damn thing, taking a racist dude's story and making it just what it should be. White racists in the South being the monsters, because when you think about it, they're monsters. Sorry,
yeah, they really are. They really are.
And then he took over Twilight Zone for a bit. Just the representation in that, and the fact that he's trying to make shows that give us a positive light and give the Black community what we would see as what a horror would be. Yeah. I'm a horror movie fanatic. I love it. I'm a weirdo, maybe because I'm desensitized to it. Except anything that involves kids, and I get real upset. Yeah. But I'm tired of seeing the same trope: the white jock, the white booby girl, the one that doesn't know how to run in shoes that are flat, the one Black dude that's like willingly going along with it, which I'm still trying to figure that out.
Why, bro?
Why are you there? Because I know one time I had a girl like, yeah, I'm inviting me and some of my friends. We're going out to a cabin for my birthday. And I was like, who all going?
Who all gonna be there?
And so she told me, and I'm looking at these people on Facebook. So I'm like, I'm the only Black girl in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina in a cabin to go out on a retreat with y'all. No, I've seen this movie and I ain't coming back. So I'm
good. I'm gonna stay home.
I'm not doing this. I was like, either I'm gonna get sacrificed or I'm being the person killed by a serial killer. I'm not doing it.
It's true. Same thing happened to me with the bonfire. They're like, yeah,
for real.
I'm like,
it's called self-preservation.
Yep.
But it's nice to see horror, movies that show us in such a positive light. Like that movie Hustlers, based on a true story. I thought that was lit. I was like, so y'all hustling the Wall Street people that taking everybody money? I'm not mad at this. That's workers for the win. Get your money, girl. Give back. But what was the movie with oh my God, Whoopi Goldberg? Not Whoopi Goldberg, Jesus. Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith,
the four of them, and
they robbed banks.
I know which one you're talking about. How the hell do I not know this? I don't know.
Looking it up right now.
Oh my God, what is it called?
Girl. Well, no, there was Girls Trip.
No.
No. I literally was just. Oh, here we go. Set It Off.
Set It Off.
Yes.
Set It Off. Now I was conflicted about that movie.
It's not good.
Because
if you're conflicted by this is not a good movie, that's fine.
I mean, here's where I'm like, I get the feminism behind it, but why we gotta be thugs that are robbing banks?
Yeah.
Like why we got? Yes, sir.
I have an idea on that.
Yeah.
If I may, I think it's a little bit of. Let's take Avery Brooks as Captain Sisko. Mm-hmm. Here is. Phoenix has feelings. But going back to your especially after he grew the beard for season 4, it's just like, it's like Riker's beard.
Yep.
The show gets good.
Yeah. That beardless Riker, I was like, nah, fam.
Yeah, can't do that.
Babyface Riker, no.
Nah, I'm good.
Which came back for Insurrection, by the way.
Nemesis. What I thought was it Nemesis or Insurrection?
No, Insurrection, because they were getting younger and having feelings. Wolf had a pimple. So,
I was like...
so on the idea of why have to be robbing banks. So you have. We're finally making shows and movies featuring Black actors in positive roles, but the concept of when do you get true equality in cinema, when you also are A, the bad guy, but B, making a crappy movie but then get to do another one. And so that movie, Set It Off, is not a good movie. I remember seeing it. I remember paying money for it because Queen Latifah, and I'm like, this is not a good movie, but she gets to make another one. So
but that's what I think, kind of.
Exactly.
Which you're right, because there's been terrible movies that some of my favorite actors are in.
Yep.
But then they do some awesome. It's like they just need that one bad one just to get their face.
Exactly.
And then they get to go do awesome stuff, which I feel is kind of like burlesque. Like you pay your dues.
Yeah. And so
and then you're like,
we're not gonna go over my growing pains. Hush.
So it's like with Wonder Woman 84. It's like, Wonder Woman 84 might not have been, and I haven't seen it yet because
I stopped watching it halfway through.
Yeah, so many reviews. It's like, oh, it's not good. Is this the end? Is this the end of women's superhero movies? It's just like, I'm sorry. If that were the case, superhero movies would have ended with Batman and Robin.
It would have ended with that Green Lantern tragedy that he still makes fun of to this day.
It would have ended with Batman v Superman. It would have ended with Superman Returns. I mean, like, there are so many.
But, you know, like, I mean, Wonder Woman 84, I was really excited when I saw Cheetah was going to be introduced because I was like, hey, Minerva, you know, but because I like to see these other villains and heroes that are female being seen because some of my favorite characters may be bad guys. But,
they're more fun to play.
I feel like Cheetah's concept, you know, just like I like other characters that are kind of ambiguously good and evil, you know, but I started watching it halfway through and I was just like, I'm not drunk enough for this. Like, I can't watch this right now. It's just, it was, I don't know. You'd have to watch it. Like, I think if I would just take away what I was expecting, what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And just enjoyed it for the cinematic value, I think it'd be okay. But I had all these hopes and wishes for a feminine superhero movie.
Sure.
And then it was just this. And I was like...
Well, it firmly fits in, and if it follows along the lines of the first one, which I mostly enjoyed, it firmly fits then in the Zack Snyder darker version of the superhero universes. And also, up to including pretty decent movie most of the way, and then the final 20 minutes is bonkers.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
that was the first Wonder Woman movie.
I wanted to get to the fight scene. Like, I was about to just fast forward because I was just like, but you know, whenever I do pick it up, I'm just gonna pick it up where I left it and just, you know, finish it.
I want to go back and re-edit the first Wonder Woman movie. I want to take out the final fight scene with Professor Lupin as the God of War. Take that out. She fights the German general. By the way, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the first Wonder Woman movie. She fights the first general because she says, like, oh yes, defeating the God of War will stop the war. We make him Ares, all right? She defeats him, and the war keeps going. And it's just like, why is it still going? It's like, because gods don't control the war.
Yeah.
This is and it's like, oh, let that be the moment. And then Steve Trevor can still go off and die, and that's fine.
Dude, that...
May has some thoughts.
Yeah, that's another show because we're at an hour. That's a whole other show by itself.
Those two movies together, I was just like...
Oh my goodness. My guests today have been Mayhammer and Phoenix Midnight. I want you to go give them all the love. Go follow Phoenix Midnight, Instagram at Phoenix Midnight. Go follow Mayhammer, facebook.com/may.hammer. Go follow them. Give them all the love and follows. Make them internet famous. Make me internet famous too, for that matter.
Oh, there you go.
What is that? A flask?
Buy her wares. She rhymes.
Buy my wares. I make my Star Trek flask. I make pins, so you can check me out. If you go on my Instagram, there's going to be pictures and links to my Etsy store.
Oh my! What is the Etsy store? What is the Etsy store?
Fiery and Fierce.
Fiery and my spelling are FIRE.
FIERY and FIERCE. It's too early to spell.
Oh, that's all right. Oh my God! There we go. Go follow that on. Holy smoke! I want that. That is amazing. I want that now. But friends, if you've enjoyed the show half as much as I enjoy doing this show every day, then I obviously enjoy it twice as much as you do, and that's called maths. And whatever you feel the show is worth, a 1, a 5, a 10, for a 50, I will come and have this same conversation with you in your garden, and I'm going to bring May with me. Phoenix, we just met. Even though we're besties yet, I can't put that on her yet. May, I've known a couple of months now. I want you to throw it into my hat, and buy me a cup of coffee. Buy all of us a cup of coffee, and I'll distribute it up to coffee.com/Shakespeare, ko-fi.com/Shakespeare. Buy us a cuppa. Tomorrow on the show, I have the Contessa Catalina from Chase Treasure talking about their upcoming show this Friday. Wednesday, I have Leonard Chillingarian, who's going to be talking about yoga and Shakespeare together. Thursday, we're writing sonnets with Shakespeare. Friday, we're doing the watch party for Shakespeare reviews. This week, for Valentine's Day, Romeo and Juliet. And then Friday evening, we have Shakespeare Shameless Self-Promotion Happy Hour. And don't forget, I am in a murder mystery coming up at the end of the month. The Murder at Cloudhaven Chateau. It's with the New Jersey Ren Fair. You can get your tickets. Get your tickets, $15 at njrenfair.com. But that is about it for today. Mayhemmer, Phoenix Midnight, do you have any final words?
Don't forget Nat 21 Adventures on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hey!
Yeah, that stars May.
Yay!
Phoenix Midnight, any final words?
Thank you so much for having me. Again, check out my Etsy store, and if you follow me on my Facebook page, just look up Phoenix Midnight. You can see me in some upcoming virtual shows, working on a project. Cannot wait to tell everybody.
Oh my, sounds fantastic. Oh, wonderful. And hold on. Shakespeare to Phoenix Midnight. Shakespeare to Phoenix Midnight. Come in, Phoenix Midnight.
Shakespeare, go ahead.
All right. I think we had a great show here. Should we disengage?
Disengage.
All right. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, friends.
Bye.